I never thought a single phrase could put me on the brink of interstellar war. It began in the neutral corridors of the Salari embassy, a place humans weren't supposed to linger. The halls gleamed with crystalline walls that pulsed faintly, resonating with energy from the Salari monarchy. Their technology was art, living metal, flowing light, but intimidating to the point of reverence. I, Captain Marcus Vale, had been sent as a liaison, a simple observer to report on interspecies relations. My mission, diplomacy, not heroics. But that distinction would vanish the instant I saw her. Beginning, the mistaken words. Her daughter was walking ahead of me, a vision of ethereal light and grace, her skin shimmering like liquid crystal. Her name was Lyra, though I barely remembered it. I had only seen her at a formal reception months ago, across a room crowded with dignitaries and ambassadors. We were alone in the observation gallery, gazing out at the swirling nebula beyond the embassy's window. She had turned to me, a subtle smile playing on her lips, and I made the mistake of speaking my admiration too freely. You're radiant, I said, and without thinking, added, you feel like, my love. The words hung in the air. Time slowed. Lyra's eyes widened, a flicker of fear crossing her delicate features. From the shadows, the air seemed to vibrate. The room's ambient light dimmed, replaced by a searing, incandescent glow. I froze. Then I heard it. A voice like rolling thunder, regal and terrifying. Did you call my daughter, my love, human? The floor beneath me seemed to quake. I turned, and there she stood, the Salari Queen, my old adversary and legend across 3 sectors. Her hair, a cascade of glowing silver, floated unnaturally, as if it were alive. Her eyes blazed like twin stars. Every inch of her presence demanded obedience or annihilation. I dropped to one knee, instinctively. Your Majesty. She stepped forward, her claws clicking against the polished floor. Do not address me yet, human. Explain this insolence before your tongue is severed. The middle, confrontation and revelation. I swallowed. The words tumbled from my mouth in panic. I meant no disrespect. I was awed by her beauty, by her presence. I did not intend offense. The Queen's glare cut sharper than any blade I had faced in battle. You dared speak affection for my daughter, she hissed, each syllable vibrating with raw energy. Do you understand the gravity of your transgression? Lyra is not a plaything. She is the heir of the Salari line, and your species, your kind, has no claim to her heart. Lyra stepped forward, placing a trembling hand on my arm. Her touch was warm, calming, and it seemed to ripple through the energy in the room. Mother, please, she whispered. He didn't mean. Silence, the Queen roared, and the air shimmered with a violet aurora. Silence, Lyra. This human has insulted our lineage. He has overstepped boundaries centuries old. I swallowed hard, searching for a lifeline. Your Majesty, if I may, my admiration is genuine. I respect your authority, your daughter's heritage, and your entire species. My words were foolish, but not ill-intended. She stopped, tilting her head, scrutinizing me with an intensity that felt like it could pierce through steel. Genuine, she repeated. You dare claim genuine while standing on the floor of my embassy? Lyra's hand tightened on my sleeve. Mother, he helped me. He protected me when your enemies tried to capture me. He saved me. That gave me pause. I had saved Lyra months ago during a covert mission against a Salari insurgent faction. She had never forgotten. I hadn't realized she had reported it back to her mother. The Queen's expression softened ever so slightly, but only for a moment. He saved you, she said, eyes narrowing. Why? A human would benefit nothing from aiding a Salari child. Lyra swallowed, her gaze pleading with her mother. Because he He understands, Mother. He sees me as more than a symbol. He saw me as a person. I nodded. Your Majesty, my respect is absolute. I swear on my honor, I only wish to protect her. The Queen took a deep breath, as if the very act required restraint. Light shimmered around her in prismatic waves, bending the room's shadows into swirling forms. Finally, she spoke. Very well, she said slowly, almost reluctantly. You may speak again. But hear me, human. One false move, one word of impropriety, and I will unleash a wrath you cannot imagine. Do you understand? I understand, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. The Queen's gaze shifted to Lyra, who now stood taller, courage blossoming in her eyes. Lyra, she said. Explain this connection. Why do you defend him? Lyra took a deep breath. Because he does not see me as a pawn, Mother. He sees me as someone worth protecting. He is loyal, and I trust him. The Queen's eyes narrowed, scrutinizing me once more. Then, unexpectedly, she stepped closer, lowering her voice. Trust is dangerous, she whispered, almost to herself. And humans, they are unpredictable. The turning point. The embassy's alarms suddenly blared, a warning of an intruder breach. I barely had time to react before energy blasts streaked through the observation chamber. A faction of Salari insurgents had infiltrated, intent on seizing Lyra. Without thinking, I pushed Lyra behind me, drawing my plasma pistol. The Queen's eyes flared, and a beam of protective energy enveloped us both. Her fury had not vanished, it had evolved into a shield, terrifying in its brilliance. Stay close, she said, almost reluctantly. This human may yet prove useful. For the next 10 minutes, chaos consumed the chamber. I fought insurgents while the Queen's energy barrier deflected every attack. Lyra whispered directions, her voice precise and calm despite her youth. Together, we reached the embassy's transport corridor. The Queen's fury remained, but I noticed something subtle, approval in her glare. Perhaps she had tested me, and perhaps, just perhaps, she recognized my loyalty. Resolution, bonds forged in fire. We reached the hangar bay, and the Queen finally allowed Lyra and me a moment of safety. She approached, her aura still formidable, but her eyes softer than I had ever seen. You have survived my wrath, she said, voice resonating with power. And in doing so, you have proven your intentions are honorable. I exhaled, my knees aching from tension. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only seek to protect her, nothing more. Lyra stepped forward. Mother, he is honest. He saved me, and he never faltered. I trust him. The Queen paused, her gaze flickering between the two of us. Then she nodded slowly. Very well, she said. I will not punish your indiscretion this day. But hear this, any human who dares misuse her trust shall face consequences beyond imagination. Understand? I understand, I said. She turned to Lyra, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. You have chosen wisely, she whispered. I will allow this alliance for now. Then, as suddenly as she appeared, she disappeared into her private chamber, leaving me and Lyra alone. The adrenaline that had gripped me for hours began to ebb, and exhaustion washed over me. Lyra looked up at me, her eyes reflecting a mixture of relief and gratitude. You survived her wrath. I laughed weakly. Barely. But I wouldn't have done it any differently. She smiled, faintly glowing in the ambient light. I know, Marcus. That's why I trust you. For a moment, we stood in silence, watching the nebulae swirl beyond the window. The embassy was still, but we both knew that this was only the beginning. The Queen's fury had tested me, her daughter had trusted me, and the galaxy had already shifted beneath our feet. One word, one careless phrase, had nearly cost me everything. And yet, That same word had forged a bond one would carry forever. Epilogue. Weeks later, I received a private message from the Queen herself. A simple note. Marcus Vale. You are recognized. Your loyalty and honor have been observed. Continue to protect Lyra, and you shall earn the Solari's lasting trust. I folded the note carefully, staring out at the stars. Lyra leaned against my shoulder, her hand finding mine naturally. The Queen still scares me, she whispered. I chuckled softly. She scares everyone. But she trusts you now, she said, eyes gleaming. And I'll do everything to keep that trust, I replied. In that moment, I realized the truth. Intergalactic politics, alien monarchs, and the fury of queens were dangerous, but loyalty, courage, and a single honest word could bridge the stars. Lyra squeezed my hand, and I knew that our bond was more than chance. It was destiny. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would I.